from the corner, twisting and turning inside out. Beautiful move, trying to get the shot on. He holds, he shoots, he scores! Absolutely!
The pitch. High fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives him a lot of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
What a logo. The 10-year anniversary are winding down. Anthony Veltri's on vacation. So is Nick Callis. They're on separate vacations. I had to explain that to Smoking Jim. Thanks for watching our Pittsburgh Sportsline live edition in the BPTV studio right here in the municipal building. Down where the police station is on the right, we're on the left. Library's up above. Mayor's office are at the other end. Thank you for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and the greater Pittsburgh area. Yes, even the city of Pittsburgh, you can watch us there. And somebody said Smoking Jim lives, oh, he did, in God's country. When he had Verizon, and he changes channels like he changes, we won't mention. But he's not on Verizon now on that 96-inch screen that he has downstairs, his man cave. Well, I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Well, before we get to that, thanks for our Facebook likes. 6,945 likes. We appreciate it. Like I said, Nick's not here. Anthony's not here. Smoking Jim's here. And look what my best friend, Corey, you might have to get to the camera. Mine's usually there. So is it going to be?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. As long as you tell me it's okay.
That's for the close-up. For like the.
All right. Look what he got. My birthday. He understands after like 5 years it's not October 11th. It's June 30th. I was born that day in 1956. Look at that cake
Happy
from
birthday,
Giant Eagle.
Machine. Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday. Guess what? We got to cut some pieces of this.
Average white band, cut the cake.
All right, I'll cut the cake. I got to take a corner, guys. My mother said I'm special.
Remember that song, Cut the Cake? Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do that. I just wanted to share with you, I had the baseball 5A back-to-back champions on my previous show.
Congratulations.
That'll be out. You want a slice?
You can give me one. I'll eat after the show, though.
Oh, okay. You want to eat
He
during
might
the
like.
show?
He might like. I should have got half chocolate. He like chocolate.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm gonna need that space to move. So.
I'll give you one.
All chocolate. Shoot.
Smoking, Jim, you're too much. I'm going to need some napkins from you guys, but I'll put the icing on, Chip.
I guess utensils. We're gonna have to.
No, just hands. There's you, Chip. I'll get Smoking Jim a nice-sized piece here.
All right. You know I like.
He
white
likes
cake.
that white cake. I'm making a mess of this place. Whoa.
Shout out to the Bethel Bakery.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll be out Chip's way on Sunday, right? No, Monday.
Yeah.
4th of July. We'll be out your way, Chip.
And I'll be laying out in the sun.
Pass that to Smoking. Let me
I'll be
wipe
there.
up here, A2.
I'm not working on Monday.
You coming over, Bill Boys?
No.
Oh.
He just said he lives nearby.
I live nearby.
Who said anything about going?
I get a chance to have some alone time with the woman. That's what's going
This
down.
cake is delicious, buddy.
Thanks, Machine. I appreciate that.
Thank
I
you
appreciate
very
that.
much for my birthday cake on almost my right day. I'm honored. It's a good day.
Jim said he sweated over a hot oven all day, man.
Wait, one more.
That's some good stuff.
Delicious. I forget where we're even at, but we've got Smoking Jim Frazier, Chip Hayner. A2 is right here for Nick Callis and Anthony Veltri. Corey's on camera. Ryan's in the control room. I'm Alan Levine, the talking machine. Just eating some cake here. Guess I got to do a few promos. Let's see if we can get these out. You know what? Sorry, A2. I don't eat sweets very often. This is it for this. Well, this will be the first time this week. Oh, my goodness.
Hey, birthday only comes around twice a year. That's why, right?
No.
That's like
Once a year.
that's like a broken watch. Is right twice a day, right?
See you again in October.
You're going to buy me a cake.
Yeah.
That'll be the first one.
Hey, this one will be chocolate.
Whoa. All right. We'll see how Corey does on this. Get a close-up on it, Corey. You're familiar with that? He's working on it. This cake is delicious.
Figure out where the there it is. A bit dark, but I think that might work.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens
Yeah, it
here.
looks pretty good.
What are you looking at?
I'm using binoculars.
Smoking Jim's doing his Stevie Wonder look. Put your sunglasses back on, Stevie. All right, do we got this? Is it up yet?
Boom! Good job! Ohio U! Ohio U!
Smoking Jim, I know you had cataract surgery a few years ago. You might want to see your psychiatrist because your eyes are seeing something unusual. 412-831-1900, Olive Oil's Pizzeria, Hillcrest Shopping Center. Smoking Jim knows where it's at.
Yes, sir.
Last spring forward or back? Back, gotcha.
I have trust for everybody. We're okay there?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Ryan, in the control room, taking control. They have great Italian food, salads, desserts, you name it. Saw Frank Fanero as I was leaving because I had to get this pizza and hoagie early. I did that great show with the baseball team, 5A, back-to-back champs. Fantastic coaches team.
They're going to make it 3 next year.
I predicted 3, Pete. They got pitchers coming back, and they only lost a few players. I predicted, I went on a limb, 3-peat again for 5A PIAA champions.
I'll take the field.
Well, Smoking Jim, in case people haven't realized, when he gives a bet all you got against it. At the sports book they started, there's a big sign of my best buddy there's face. If you want to bet against Smoking Jim by the Talking Machine. It's right there, and it's a great pick. His smiling face, and he looks like a winner. But he's not. But check out Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Thanks, Smoking. All right, Corey, we'll test you on this next one here. We end each show with Stay Joey Strong. We'll see what we got there. Here, I'm just going to crush this. Very good. Cake's great, buddy. Look at that. Joey Fabus, Childhood Cancer Foundation. Poor Joey died at 8 years old, just before his 9th birthday, like 8 years ago. And his family started the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. He died of brain cancer, DIPG. It's a death sentence when they're diagnosed. They live for 1 year. That's all he made. They've raised over $100,000 to try to find a cure for DIPG. Dr. Gary at Children's Hospital said they're close to finding something that could help cure the brain cancer. So we're waiting for that breakthrough to happen any day, and we'll see what happens there. But you can go to Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, donate as little as $1, donate your time, go to their 5K 1-mile run coming up in September. We film it every year. It's a superheroes race because Joey loved his superheroes, and that's their biggest fundraiser of the year. So please check it out. All right, we'll test Corey again. How's he doing, folks? He's doing pretty good in my book. Let's see what he does on this one. They're even filming me drinking Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
There's Bennett there. Bennett was a handicapped child, had 2 kidney transplants like I did. His dad was the last one, Dean, to give him one. He died at 16 and a half about a year ago, and he was always happy and smiling. So his mother and father Kristen started Always Be, stands for Bennett, smiling. They're a 501c3. You can donate money to them as little as $1 or more, whatever you think would help other children going through kidney transplants and their families. They just had an event the other day. Just check out their page. I got all my friends to try to like their page and boosted them up to 1,200 likes. So you can see these different events. Thank all of you for liking the page. They're doing a lot of great things in the Pittsburgh area, and you can be a part of this. So check it out. Just a great group of people. All right, Corey. Ready again. Nice close-up. Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. 2600 South Park Road. Red and white trolleys there. You know where it's at. One of my favorite coffee tea shops is there. Reginald's Coffee. Was just having a discussion with somebody about great coffee at Reginald's. They roast it from all over the world, and they say it's much better than Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, or anywhere else. Make sure, I have hundreds of people have told me, go to Reginald's Coffee. So check them out. I like my green tea there. I'm staying with green tea. All you caffeine guys with the coffee, like Smoking Jim, keep drinking it. You deserve it. But they do different events there. They have all the yearbooks. They've remodeled the place. They have a community foundation auditorium upstairs that I'm a trustee on the board. We help to fund that. And they do a lot of great events there, and just check them out. All right. Something bigger for you, Corey. I'm giving you a little prelude to what you got to deal with. All right, wanted. Bethel Park groups and organizations who need money. I don't know why Smoking Jim's clapping.
that.
He got the clapper odds.
I like that.
All right, thanks, Smoking. We have grant money for you from $100 to $5,000. If you're doing great things in Bethel, your group can get this money and help make Bethel a better community. Go to www.bpcf.org, get an application. We meet once every 2 months. Bring your application there. We've given out over $1 million in 26 years, and we plan on giving out more each and every month. So check it out. We have scholarships for your kids there. So just get a hold of bpcf.org, and you can find out what scholarships are available for your seniors. So that's what I have for Bethel Park Community Foundation. All right. A social worker friend of mine told me to meet a lady and talk to her. And we got a flyer from her. Her name's Kathleen Miller. We'll see what pops up here. Great camera work by Corey. He's only been here for a few weeks now. I think it's less than a month. But he's doing great work. You got to do double camera duty because we had to recruit A2. We got to do take 2 with A2. So get ready for him. We don't know what he's thinking about, but he knows sports. Just ask Smoking Jim. Well, Kathleen's kidney function was 17. It's supposed to go down to 15 or lower, and she can get a living donor. She found a living donor, can't announce it to us until she gets her transplant. So I've been saying I got to get a hold of her. So hello to Kathleen. We'll talk soon. All right. Last one for you, Corey. The pressure's off. How's this one, Smoking? Smoking?
All right.
Tonight's the Smoking Jim Clapper Award. Remember they used to have that clapper for the lights? You clap the lights out,
we
TV.
It looked like a strobe light in here tonight.
Yep. Smoking Jim's on fire. I don't know how many meals he had at KFC. He does have a Pepsi can and a KFC cup. So I'm assuming he had at least a half a dozen pieces of brown meat chicken. I want you for BPTV. All of you high school kids that may be watching the show, or even if you're in college and you want to work at BPTV, call 412-831-3304. Tell them Uncle Al, the talking machine, said you should work at BPTV. You can be like Corey. You can be like Nick, Anthony, A2, Ryan, anybody else that walked in. Even Bo on the baseball team got a couple shows that he's doing. So you can be doing that also. And Anthony Veltri did his 80th show that he does. Check out his show. It's a gaming show. I'm not interested in it, but he's done 80 of them, so check it out. And you can work here at BPTV, and it can help you in your career if you want to do video, audio, or whatever else you might want to do in the community. It's available. Dave Cable's a great director and great teacher. Just ask these guys. All right, let's go to what's on your mind. Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
you got to see Levine. I missed it. I dropped
Right in his
it.
hands.
I dropped it. I can't believe
Deontay.
it. Yeah, give me $20 million. Hey, Al Levine, the talking machine. I heard something today on the radio. I just can't believe what I heard. They said the Pirates haven't had a winning month since 2018 or 2019. Is that true, Chip?
Could possibly be, yes.
With a 4-game losing streak now, this month is out the way. But listen, I ain't giving up on my Buccos. But hey, Al,
You're not a Bucco fan.
You see what I'm wearing? But,
Here's how I know what kind of fan he is. What kind of hat does he have?
Adidas.
There's
But
no P on it.
Al-
That's my point.
Al Levine, the talking machine. I tell you what, I had a disaster of a vacation. Al Levine, the talking machine. I usually go through travel agencies, but it was a family reunion. My brother's a millionaire in Dallas. His wife makes the reservations on a particular airline. I can't even think of what it is now.
Delta.
Right? Huh?
Delta.
Southwest Airlines,
Okay.
Al Levine, the talking machine. Hey, listen, I prefer to fly private jets. You know, first class. Hey, Chip, I'll even go business class. You know what I mean? Hey, A2, I'm not uppity. I'll even sit and coach. Well, I tell you what, Al Levine, I get to the airport early in the morning, and I see Mika Fitzpatrick. He's going to Florida on Southwest. So I said, Southwest must not be that bad. But once I got on the plane, I realized Mika's cheaper than Barry Foster. That wouldn't buy none of his linemen any gifts when he led the NFL in rushing. They took me from Pittsburgh to Chicago. I had a layover in Chicago. I don't read fine prints that often.
Or print it all.
They kept saying, Columbus this, Columbus that. And I'm laughing like, what you talking about Columbus for? All of a sudden, I see the marquee changing that the next flight is like 5:30 at night. I'm like, where's the Dallas flight? They're like, no, you got to go to Columbus. So I had to run through the airport like O.J. Simpson, Al Levine, the talking machine. I had to go to the other side of the airport, and everything in Chicago is jumping. You know, whether it's Jordan's pitcher or Walter Payton jumping over the top. So I get there, so I get on the plane. We go from Chicago to Columbus, but I don't have to get off this plane. So then there's only 10 people left on the plane. But they ain't going to take off till it's fully packed in Columbus. Everybody gets on Al Levine, and we finally fly to Dallas. They lose my luggage. Al Levine, the talking machine.
No way.
So I finally get there. Never again. From now on, I'm going back to my travel agent, and that's how I'm going to operate. And that's what's on my mind. But it's fun seeing family.
Hold it. What's your travel agent's name? What's her name?
Pardon me?
What's your travel agent's name?
Her name varies. Sometimes it's Valerie. Sometimes it's Amy.
I didn't know Varys was a woman's name.
It varies. Levine, talking machine.
Smoking Jim, you always have.
I'm racking up my miles though. My frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, but what are you even going to do with them? You
I
can't
know.
cash them in the gamble.
Huh?
You can't cash them in the gamble.
That's true.
right?
That's what's on my mind.
Okay. Thank
Great
you.
show last week, by the way, fellas. I went and
Thank
watched
you.
it. It was an
Thank you.
outstanding show.
Thank you for your compliments. We appreciate you. After that, Chip, I don't know how you follow
I
that.
don't, you know, and I would like to say, you know, I have a family reunion coming up on August the 6th, but I only have to drive half a mile to get to my family reunion. I'm one of 22 grandchildren.
Wow.
And so there's going to be relatives that I'm going to meet there on August the 6th that I never met before because all of my cousins have had many
Is that
children.
the Barone side of the family?
Yes, it is. It's the Barone side of the family, and we're going to get together, and I'm looking forward to it.
Wow.
Looking forward to it.
Well, glad we got that out of the way.
Got that out of the way, and you know, and to avoid the aggravation that Jim went through.
Yeah.
On my vacation 2 weeks ago, I drove there. I drove back.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't have any headaches, no aggravations. It was quite a pleasurable experience. And you know, the cost of gas, it still cost me less than a one-way ticket to Dallas.
Yes, sir.
You know, so all things said, I think I'll fly my Toyota.
Yeah, nice going. Well, thank
So-
you for that update.
So,
Chip.
you know, so what's on my mind this week? You know, and I hear a lot of talk because, you know, I do listen to talk radio. I spend a good portion of my day in my truck when I'm out in the field working. So, you know, and listening to talk show hosts, you know, everybody knows exactly how to run a baseball, Major League Baseball team. They know exactly how to run an NFL football team. They're the best coaches that have ever coached. They know how to evaluate talent. You know, they know who the starting quarterback should be. But one of the funniest things that I hear is the way that one of Jim's favorite people gets dragged through the mud on a consistent basis. The head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin. You know,
You're kidding.
and you know, and the funny thing is that nationally and throughout the NFL, he's one of the most highly regarded, successful coaches in NFL. In the
ESPN speaks
NFL,
about him like that all the time.
and I can tell you this right now: if Mike Tomlin were to ever get fired from the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2/3 of the team in the NFL would fire their current coach just to be able to get a chance to sign him.
Oh, yeah.
You know, without any
Because
question.
they know how the rubber meets the road.
Because if he got fired
They know.
if he got fired when the sun set today, by the time the sun rose tomorrow morning,
That rubber
he
would meet
have
the road.
He would have a new job. But you know, one of the interesting things that I heard about Mike Tomlin was he was on a podcast that
Ryan
featured
Clark?
Ryan Clark, Fred Taylor, and Channing Crowder. Okay. And, it was one-on-one. And one of the things that struck me and that just kind of cements in my mind why Mike Tomlin is such a great motivator of men and a great head coach. And he will remain the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers as long as he chooses to.
Whoa.
Yeah. But
There's,
Ryan Clark,
there's negative Jim Frazier. Negative.
what they were talking about was the playoff game that gave Tim Tebow his name. Back when Tebow completed a pass in overtime to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
And the Steelers were going into Denver as obviously the odds-on favorite.
Oh, yeah.
And Ryan Clark, who does have the sickle cell trait,
Right.
the last time he had played in Denver, Mile High Stadium, he almost died.
Yeah.
He almost died. And there was questions as to whether Ryan Clark was going to play. Now, Ryan Clark was doing everything he could and soliciting the help of doctors, lawyers, and everybody else to get him clearance to play.
Right, I remember.
And so they went to a meeting. They sat down with Mike Tomlin, And Ryan Clark said he had charts and pictures and graphs.
We lost the light
and
here.
video and doctors' testimonials stating how he is available to be able to play, and that he should play in this game. And they were pitching to Mike Tomlin about letting Ryan Clark play, and Mike Tomlin just looked at Ryan Clark and he said, "Listen, if you were my son, we would not even be having this conversation."
Wow.
And Ryan Clark appreciated what Mike Tomlin
Think
said
about
to
what
him.
that means.
And
yeah.
and it wasn't about winning a football game. It was about somebody's life. And what was more important, winning that playoff game or making sure that Ryan Clark didn't die in the course of the game? And that just shows you,
character.
what kind of a leader he is and why players gravitate to want to play for him.
He thinks he knows more than the doctors.
Well, you know what? His record stands undiminished.
Smoking Jim, I got to do a
If the
disclaimer.
doctor says he can play, he's going to play.
Smoking Jim.
Right. And if the doctor says, and if he does play, he could possibly die, then there's a fairly good chance he could drop dead on the field. And would you want that on your shoulders?
Chip, I got to
so.
do a disclaimer to all of Smoking Jim's fans. He doesn't believe in doctors unless they're white doctors, and there's beautiful nurses. Other than that, he's had a quadruple bypass. He's had a half a dozen accidents. He's needed cataract surgery for a couple years and had numerous accidents. So there's a guy who has no credibility with doctors. So Chip, on a serious note, when a guy tells you that your life means more than winning a game, I want to play for that guy.
And that's what my point is. And how many coaches out there would have done things differently?
They're like Smoking Jim.
There would have been more than a few, and that's really, that puts everything in perspective. And
thanks for bringing that up.
And one of the reasons why I have more respect now for Mike Tomlin than I had last week at this time, it speaks for itself. But that's what's on my mind.
Great point. Hold it. Did you buy a clapper?
Yeah, see, the light went out.
we lost the light. We got to wait for Corey. Watch your step, because now
Clap
he's
on,
going to
clap
have
off.
He's going to have to film us. First, shout out to Amy at Giant Eagle Bakery in Bethel Park.
That's our girl.
She goes, "Happy birthday, thank you." Ralph said, "Happy birthday, thanks." And Amy goes, "How was the cake at Giant Eagle?"
Delicious.
It was like yours at Giant Eagle. Delicious. So, very good. Chiefs watching us. Ralph's up in Grove City. And let's see who else. Nick just entered the chat. The Nats just scored. Boo. He's at the Nats game.
Who's the Nats?
Who's at the Nats game?
Nick.
What's the Nats?
Nationals.
Yeah.
He's
Nick's there.
in D.C.?
Yeah, he's in D.C. He was in Maryland. He said he saw the ocean there. And he's in our nation's capital, Smoking Jim.
Wow, that's close to Baltimore.
No, it's right in Washington, D.C.
And, the interesting thing about the Washington Nationals that the Pirates are playing this evening is the fact that, Juan Soto is one of their big young stars. He's 23 years old. Do you realize that he's been playing in the major leagues for 5 years already?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's in rare form. All right, we're going to go to A2.
What's on my mind is the great NHL Finals that just happened. The Avalanche, I predicted the win. I'm very happy that they did.
Let me
They're a
interrupt.
very high-end team.
You were right. I was wrong. This young man, 21 years old, beat me. I was
predicted
wrong.
5, though, but they went to 6.
If you were wrong on that, that's okay. But I'm still wrong on the winner. You got it.
When I was watching, though, there was people that are on the internet, of course. When they were talking the game, there was a bunch of Tampa fans very early on that said they were going to 7 because they scored a goal in the first 5 minutes of the game, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And then they never scored again during the game, which is you never say the game's over till it's over. You just gotta hope and pray that your team pulls out through the end, which the Avalanche just were the better team when it came to
I
just the long
concede.
run.
They were truly the better team. Sorry to interrupt you, but you were right on that one.
Very interesting. They also dented the Stanley Cup when he tripped and fell. That was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Hey,
How about that?
just some interesting facts regarding the Stanley Cup Finals. Tampa Bay Lightning, their playoff injuries, okay? And Tampa Bay had the heart of a champion, and these guys played through injuries. The Avalanche going in were the odds-on favorite to win the cup.
Yeah.
And well-deserving, they won the cup. But, take into account, I wonder what the series would have been like if the Lightning would have been healthy. I'll give you the last name of some players here.
You disagree.
Belmari had a meniscus injury, started in the playoffs. Cirelli, shoulder AC joint sprain versus the Ranger, and dislocated the other shoulder versus Colorado. Kucherov, MCL sprain that happened against Colorado. Paul, shoulder AC joint sprain versus the Rangers, MCL sprain against Colorado. Perry, a shoulder AC joint sprain with the Rangers. And these guys all played. Point, significant quad tear versus Toronto.
Injuries
and
do
he
play
played.
part,
McDonough, mangled finger from a block shot against the Rangers. Hockey players are the toughest SOBs on the planet.
Yeah,
they are. And I'm not saying that we're making excuses. The Avalanche are deserving champions.
Yeah, they are.
There's no question about it. Cale Makar is the reincarnation of Bobby Orr.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
I watched Bobby Orr. So I agree.
So did I. I remember watching him as a child with Phil Esposito. And
oh, yeah.
I do agree, though. I think injuries could have changed the series. There's been plenty.
They could have.
Plenty of teams from every sport have sadly had the injury
there's
plague,
no,
which
there's no
ruined their
question.
seasons.
Yeah.
And we don't know what Colorado players were playing with injuries. That's just, of course, the losers are going to bring it up because they
lost.
Yeah. Because somebody
can change the course.
Because the winners, they're too busy. They're probably
things.
still drunk.
No, that is just great.
And that's what's on my mind.
Thank you, A2. Smoking Jim, whatever you paid for that clapper was good. By the way, my second piece of cake was great. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. What's on my mind is back-to-back 5A PIAA champions, Bethel Park Blackhawks, 2 in a row. They let me have the trophies. We did a show from 6 o'clock to about 6:45. That was on Facebook Live. You can actually watch it on Pittsburgh Sportsline again right now. So if you want to switch from this show, we don't mind. You can watch that show. Great interviews with Coach Patrick and his 2 new coaches. How about he had not 1 but 2 new coaches, and they were able to win again. 4 of his great players were on the show. Great interviews. And just check it out. I'm just pumped up and proud to be putting on nice, great young people and good coaches who do it the old-fashioned way. And they won and beat a great team out there at State College. What a trip we had that day. So honored to film the 45-minute show. Check that one out, including Smoking Jim. You'll see the Talking Machine interview everybody before the game at the high school, on the field, after the game, and everything else. Great show. And we'll do it again. We're going to be back in 10 seconds with Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And I tell you what, I'm going to go real quick, man. I tell you what, everybody knows I'm the only black delegate on the State Hall of Fame committee, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. So I travel all over the state eating free. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I'll be in Erie for a Hall of Fame banquet. But Sunday, I was in Cannonsburg at the Hilton Gardens for the Washington County, Greene County Hall of Fame, Al Levine, the Talking
What'd you
Machine.
learn?
And
There's no black guys out there?
One thing I learned, they took real good care of me. I had the best seat in the house.
Why?
Al Levine, the Talking Machine. I tell you what, this was the longest banquet I think I've ever been to. 4.5 hours, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. It was like a Bill Neal banquet.
One
Most
question.
banquets are 3 hours or less.
One question.
Uh-huh.
What happened to Batman?
Well, you know what? Good thing. A few people left. Most of the people sitting at my table had an excuse and left, including Bill Kai.
He left.
Yeah, he left right before the last group. The last group was the WPIL championship team, Beth Center High School. They only won one. They rolled in their coach.
What sport was it?
Football.
Okay, thanks.
They had the cowbell shaking, elevator talking machine. And when I was in college, a friend of mine who ended up being the athletic director and head coach, football coach at
What's
Beth
his name?
Center, Eddie Woods.
Okay.
Fastest white guy I ever seen in my life, man.
Another.
Yeah, he could run, man. But Eddie Woods took me to a bar in Beth Center, brother. And if I wasn't near with my man, I mean, every car had a shotgun taped to it. But I was there with Eddie Woods. I was safe. The talking machine. I was a little worried. But they came in with their cowbells and everything. They wheeled in their 88-year-old Coach Connors. And I tell you what, he gave a Luke Rockney type speech. El Levine, the talking machine. Everybody that stayed wanted to play El Levine, the talking machine. And the great thing about it, my quarterback from Cal, who had a full scholarship to Ohio State and was a great, great wrestler, Chuck Colburn, who didn't show up, but the coach mentioned his name as being the starting quarterback and throwing touchdowns and stuff. They only gave up 24 points the whole year. They were 12-0.
They were like the Steelers back in the day.
But one quick story. This is how tough they were, and I'll go right to Chip after this. This was after high school, of course. You know, they're all hunters out there. So one of the ex-football players is hunting, and somehow, I don't know if an alligator took off his leg or what, but he used his belt as a tourniquet. He hopped on one leg a quarter of a mile.
Yeah.
Knocked on the door. A lady answered. She fainted because she seen all the blood. He goes in her house, calls for the ambulance, and the coach was like, "That's the bulldog. I mean, bulldog spirit." I mean, everybody just went crazy in there. So I'm glad I didn't pull a Batman, and I stayed to the end. They're shining lights on the Beth Center Bulldogs. Congratulations.
The clapper came out. Our light went back on. Smoking Jim, look at how bright and light he looks.
Yeah, that's the whole black magic.
All right, thank you. Chip, by the way, before you speak and do your segment, Stephanie Hayner is watching. Steph.
Hey, Steph.
Hey.
We miss you.
Love you, baby.
Hope you're healthy and safe. All right, 10 seconds for trivia time with Chip Hayner.
Well, it's awfully great to hear from Smokin' Jim Frazier, and you don't know how much it warms my heart to hear that Smokin' Jim is keeping deserving souls out of Hall of Fames from one end of Pennsylvania to the other.
Chip, you're so spot on. You don't need to say any more. That was a knockout punch.
And I don't know who gets credit for more free meals, Smokin' Jim or Ed Bouchette.
Take a drink.
Breathe, Jim, breathe. Okay, so anyhow, just looking over some statistics the other day, and one of the things that drives me crazy about baseball, besides the designated hitter in the National League.
Yeah.
Did I mention that I hate that?
No.
Okay, if I haven't, I just put it on the record. We've got this new thing called StatCast.
Yeah.
StatCast is the rage, okay? Everybody wants to know what was the exit velocity on that ball. Now, we've got O'Neal Cruz, who's the latest, greatest thing for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And, and I hope this young man ultimately ends up becoming a great Major League player for the Pittsburgh Pirates. But you know what? I think he could take the StatCast and throw it in the garbage can, because knowing how fast the ball he hit and grounded out to the shortstop with, I don't care. So he hit a home run yesterday. Oh, the exit velocity was 108 miles an hour. Who cares? He hit a home run.
Here's where I don't care. He got an out.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, he hit a line drive to the third baseman. It was going 115 miles an hour. Yeah, but it was still an out. So anyhow, I think we're getting a little too wound up in all the toys and gadgets, and I think it's taking away from the game. But just my humble opinion, I didn't think the game was broken to start with.
Right.
But I think all this monkeying with it right now. So I'm going to go back to a day when pitchers were of a higher quality than they are now. And, we've got all these statistics to prove, this guy throws 100 miles an hour, this guy throws 97. Yeah, but the guys only pitch for 2 or 3 years. And then they have Tommy John surgery, and then they go from team to team to team.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about a pitcher that was one of the most intimidating pitchers of the 60s.
I think I saw your post.
And in the early 70s, here's a pitcher that made it into the Hall of Fame, whose fastball, one of the most intimidating pitchers of all time. When you talk about him, and people that played the game or watched the game feared him. Bob Gibson. He pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals. The interesting thing about Bob Gibson, his fastball was only ever clocked at 91.9 miles per hour. But yet
it moved.
But everybody was afraid of him. And Hank Aaron once said, you go to bat against Bob Gibson, he goes, don't dig in the batter's box. He goes, because you'll be on your hind end when the next pitch
When
comes
he saw you digging that back leg in, what did
he
he
saw
do?
you digging in, he made you sit down.
One of my favorite pitchers of all time, Chip.
So, so here's the interesting statistic that tells me that pitchers in the past were better than the pitchers of the present, okay? It's just real simple, not a whole bunch of, exit velocities, spin rates, and all this other stuff. Bob Gibson in 1968, which was the year of the pitcher, started 35 games for the St. Louis Cardinals. No, here comes the wow factor.
Yeah.
He threw 28 complete games. Okay? There haven't been 28 complete games pitched in the last decade in the major leagues. One season, 28 of the 35 games. Now, his season ERA was 1.12.
I'll never forget that. Yeah.
And here's the thing that blew me away.
The losses.
His record was only 22-9. How did he lose 9 games with an ERA for the whole season? He gave up 35 earned runs for the entire season. Now after that season, Major League Baseball lowered the mound by 6 inches because they felt that the pitchers had an unfair advantage. But listen to his ERA in 69 after they lowered the mound. His ERA was 2.18.
Which is still great.
Which is still great. And again, 28 complete games. Listen to the complete game totals from 68, 28 complete games. 69, 28 complete games. 1970, 23 complete games. 71, 20 complete games.
Well, he's getting older.
1972, 23 complete games. This is what I talk about, because when you're a pitcher, okay, what we got is a lot of guys in the major leagues now that can throw the ball hard.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're a pitcher and you have to go through a lineup 3 or 4 times, you don't have the sauce on the ball in the first inning that you had in the 7th or 8th or 9th inning. Once somebody has seen you 3 times, 4 times, they get an idea where your release point is. They kind of get a feel for what you're doing. So you have to be a little bit more crafty, and you have to actually
How
pitch.
did Bob Gibson do it?
Well, he
I'm being rhetorical.
He changed speeds. He threw the ball in, out, up, down. He kept people guessing, because pitching is more of a mental game than it is a physical. And I think that's what's being lost on younger baseball fans now than fans from the past, is that, it's great to see these guys throwing hard, but, show me a guy that will go into the 7th or 8th inning on a consistent basis. And we're seeing pitchers like Garrett Cole's actually doing it.
Yeah.
Pitching 7 or 8 innings. Now, unfortunately, he got messed up with the spider tack last year. So is he still cheating? We don't know. But anyhow, it got
not
him
as much maybe.
Got him a $330 million contract. So
right.
I guess it all pans out in the end. But
sure.
that's my bit of trivia. I do believe that pitchers of the past were better than pitchers of the present. I know young Nick is going to argue with me on that.
Ding next week.
But that's just my humble opinion.
Thank you, Chip.
I wonder how my all-time favorite pitcher, Violet Blue, would have done with a higher mound. They used to call me Violet Blue when I pitched.
We want to have one witness that said it, because I don't believe it. You're a right-hander, like Chip and I have said. All right, Marla's watching. Thank you.
Great job.
Thanks for the birthday wish. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to take two with A2. What's on your list?
Geno Smith will drop.
Welcome back, everybody, with Take Two with A2. Not much is happening in the basketball world. The draft just happened. That was pretty good if you were like in the lower rounds. I don't really pay attention to the higher round people. But there was some big news with the Brooklyn recently. I'll talk about that since that's been
Go ahead,
going
lay it
around.
on
The
us.
big three is coming to an end. Of Harden first was the first one to go, and now it's come out that Kyrie is going to be in a sign-and trade, which is going to be any time now before the free agency or during free agency, in which also came out, KD also said that he will leave Brooklyn if Kyrie leaves. So, which means they're most likely going to have to trade KD away and Kyrie, for which they're back to square one of where they were before, 3 years ago, of trying to rebuild.
Whoa.
A2, question for you.
Yes.
I've been paying attention to this because first Kyrie, he's gone, but he agreed to to stay in Brooklyn for $37 million. Now, is that because they're gonna sign and trade him?
Yeah, it's a sign and trade. So they're going to sign him and then trade him off to another
That's
team.
part of the deal, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they owe him 30. I think they actually owe him, I think 41 or $43 million.
Yeah, they're probably going to have to
on
eat
the
up that
last
cap.
year of contract, but he signed the lower figure. But
He's saving them to get the hell out of Dodge.
I'm predicting he's going to stay.
He might, but I think they are going to trade him, and I don't know what's going to happen. If he does get traded, though, KD is also gone. So, I mean, he's already openly said that he doesn't want to play there if Kyrie's not there. So he's just
that's
probably
a
gonna get
shame
somewhere
because
else.
KD couldn't win a championship without Steph.
Yeah, it would be
That
him and Ben
seems-
Simmons.
That
That'd
seems
be-
true. Yeah. Well, KD's allowed to make a mistake or two, and look, he got injured, so those things happen.
In the past, also, it was pretty. People were bringing up what the Nets did this also almost a decade ago, where they traded for a lot of their young pieces and picks, which would later become some of Boston's best picks for Kevin Garnett and I think it was Paul Pierce. In which, when they were in Boston, not Boston, when they were in Brooklyn, they did not play good at all. In which they had to start rebuilding again, so people think it's like that again. Like history repeated itself.
So did you see any of the NBA draft? Did you see the outfit the kid that got picked first wore?
Yeah.
He
I
looked
missed it, but
I'm like, what are you thinking?
I thought I was looking at Prince.
Yeah.
Is it that bad? I didn't see
Oh, it was like purple velvet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like.
Wasn't that a surprise first-round pick, though?
Yeah, he was out of Duke.
Is it a black kid?
yeah, people thought it was going to be
Yeah,
Chet
he-
that was going to go first, or
Yeah, that's what I
the
wanted you to
second
touch
person.
on. Yeah.
It was going to be Chet or somebody else, but they chose him. People think he's going to be one of the better scorers, so I mean, it kind of makes sense that they would choose
Oh,
him.
it's easy to score in the NBA. They don't allow you to play defense.
Good points. Thanks,
Yeah.
A2. We appreciate your update.
Yeah, but true.
We're going to go to my on location in 10 seconds. Got to appreciate that graphic by A2 with Take Two. He come up with a good one. That plane looks great there. On location, September 3rd, Monsville Prison, the haunted prison. We're back for Jim Frio and legendary Mike Murray. They want us to do boxing down there, so Nick marked his calendar. We'll try to take 4 cameras down there again and look at the fun Smoking Jim and I have with boxing. And I think they're supposed to do some pro boxing down there this time.
Wow.
So we'll see what happens. Then on the 24th of September, Christopher Ralph, he had us at Langley doing boxing. So he's going to have us doing some boxing in the south side. I'll give Smokin' Jim the address when it's convenient. If I give it to him too soon, he'll say, Machine, I didn't get it. But you heard it here, folks. So we're running out of time, I think. I got to check my clock here to see what's going on.
It's 52.
Yeah, so we got about 7 minutes or so to go. We're going to just open it up for sports talk straight up with the talking machine and friends here. So what's on your mind?
Well, here's one of the things that I find interesting is that, there's the month of July, all the talk about baseball is the trade deadline, July 31st.
Yeah.
And, everybody's already complaining and moaning. There's talks of the Pirates trading Brian Reynolds.
Right.
There's talks about them trading David Bednar. I honestly don't believe that the Pirates should trade anybody. Does that mean they will or will not? We'll see. I mean, of course, you have to listen if somebody's going to bring something to the table.
Sure.
I mean, and if somebody brings you an offer. But I think what we've seen in the last month is that there is a lot of young talent in the Pirates organization.
Yeah.
Some of it is ready for prime time. Some of it is not. Jack Sawinski, I think he's here to stay. This Bly Madras, this kid looks to be pretty solid. O'Neill Cruz looks like he's got all the tools to be a major leaguer. Now,
Chip, I saw he was batting over 250 the other day.
And here's what the thing is. He's doing well right now, but when you get to the major leagues, they're going to figure you out, and it's a period of adjustments. They're going to adjust to you. You have to make adjustments. And how's he going to do there? They say that his defense is a work in progress. I hear lots of criticism about Cabrian Hayes, but I want to tell you something about this young man. Last Thursday, he scored the winning run in the bottom of the 10th. And he had only one choice, and he dove straight at the catcher's leg with a leg protector on, injured his shoulder on a game that really didn't mean anything. The Pirates aren't contending for anything this year.
Right.
But you know what? He did what he had to do to win the game. He slid between the catcher's legs, touched home plate, and injured his shoulder in the process. And this is the reason why they're paying him $70 million. But I do see people out commenting about, the $80 million man struck out again, Well, guess what? Baseball players strike out. They strike out a whole lot more frequently than they get hits. Just look at the statistics the last few years.
Sure.
I mean, the amount of strikeouts in Major League Baseball has far exceeded the number of hits over the last few years. And that's a disturbing trend. And that's something that the players need to work on to get better instead of worrying about exit velocity and launch angle.
Well, I give Charrington credit. He got 31 different players to come in. Some are ready, some aren't. That's why they're minor leaguers. Chip alluded to they didn't have a season for about a year and a half in the minors. So there's a lot of time to find out who they are.
Well, they got a lot of talent, which is what got them into the places that they're in. And now they've had a little taste, and now they find out, okay, here's what I've got to fine-tune, because you get into the bigs or the show, okay, it's just like playing in the NFL. Speed's way different than in college. The game's faster.
Sure.
You have to the details matter a lot more. The mistakes that you can make in the minors, you can't make in the majors.
And here's the other thing. People talk bad about the Pirates, of course, because the record, like Smokin' Jim looks at, he bets, and how can he lose when he bets on them to lose all the time? But that's another story. But they had championship teams in the minors.
Right.
So, they did show success there with what they revamped.
But see, look at what the Pirates have done actually in the month of June. They've lost way more games than they've won.
Right.
Okay? And they're on a 4-game losing streak. Prior to that, they lost 9 in a row.
Right.
Then they won 3 out of 4 from Chicago. Okay? But what these young players are learning now is what does it take to win in the major leagues. And they're finding out that the little details that they're not paying attention to that they can get away with are what's causing them to lose. And basically, as a young group, they're learning what it takes to win. And they can't just come up here and expect that, hey, we're all going to hit 300 and, we're going to win games just based on our talent. It takes a little bit more than that. They're in the process of learning. And I'm okay with the way the team is trending right now because, to be honest with you, these young players are exciting to watch.
Nick must be watching. Here's what he said. Don't think I don't see you talking bad about modern players, Chip. Though I did, wait, listen to this. Nick, you're the best. Though I did just watch Cruz strike out. Touche, Chip. Nick, you're down one.
Nick.
He got you.
I love you, brother.
He got you on that. We're just about ready to wind it up. We'll need Ryan to tell Corey how much time we officially have if he can take a peek. Smoking Jim, you recovered from Dallas, right? You're okay now?
Yeah.
Your cake was delicious, so you made a strong comeback.
Thanks, Levine, the Talk Machine. I appreciate it.
I thank you for that.
1 minute.
That's what I thought. We were getting close, so we're ready to wrap this up. A2, thanks for filling in again.
No problem.
And thanks for setting up the show. You were in here at 5 o'clock. The Ryan and A2 team is just strong. They helped me do my special edition. I'm proud of them. They came in, no complaining, told me what to do, what did I want to do, and we got it all done. Thank you so much for that. Thanks to Ryan in there. He took charge. Corey here gets a medal. He handled both cameras tonight. What did I tell you, A2? Corey can handle it. He got it. We're going to be signing off now. And thanks for all of you for watching the show. We appreciate it. Thanks for your feedback. We appreciate most of it.
And Nick, watch the game, not your phone.
Whoa! Chip knocked that one out of the ballpark. On that, stay Joey strong.